If you're looking to own just one G-Shock and price is one of your key decision-making factors, then the DW5600 could be just the watch for you. What's good, bro? I'm LUISGUSTO. Welcome to another watch review. Today we're taking a look at the Casio G-Shock DW5600E-1V. Drop a comment below if you have this watch in your collection and make sure you hit that subscribe button for more watch content. This bad boy retails for $74.95, though you could usually find it for much cheaper, like around $50. I happen to find mine as a deal of the day on Amazon for $45, and I will have a link in the description in case you want to add it to your collection. As opposed to other more expensive G-Shock releases that come in bold packaging with that tin inside and the watch nestled in between layers of foam, this comes in a more budget-like packaging, which I guess I understand because this is more of an entry-level G-Shock watch. This packaging is closer to the budget Casio boxes that we've seen on this channel, except it doesn't even have a slipcover. That said, I do enjoy the packaging. It's a black box with the red bold G-Shock letters. You've got a red stripe that goes into a dotted gradient, a big bold gray dotted gradient, and inside you have a black Casio watch stand, the instructions, and that G-Shock warranty card with the watch nestled happily inside. Mine happened to be set to the correct date and time, which I guess is fine, but it takes a little bit of the fun out of setting your digital watch. So now let's take a look at the watch itself, the materials, and its construction. Like many G-Shock watches, it is made from a resin. So it's got a black resin case along with a black resin band with a metal pin and buckle closure and a black resin keeper. All in all, pretty basic there. This Casio G-Shock watch measures 48.9 millimeters lug to lug. It's got a case width of 42.8 millimeters and a case thickness of 13.4 millimeters. The watch weighs 53 grams. The crystal is made from a mineral glass, which is a step up from some of the budget Casio digital watches that we've seen on this channel that are made from a resin glass. This one is a little bit more scratch resistant. It's gonna be tougher over the long haul, although it still will pick up scratches, so you do need to be careful. The thickness of that bezel offers a little bit of protection, and it also has 4 metal pushers on the case. One of them is a little bit depressed, and we'll talk more about the buttons in the review later in the video. All right, now let's get into some of the features of this digital watch. Nothing earth-shattering here, pretty basic features for any Casio G-Shock digital watch. Of course, you've got that timekeeping feature that will give you 12 or 24-hour mode. I personally like to go with a 24-hour mode so that I always feel like I'm in Europe no matter where I am in this country. It's got a multifunction alarm. I personally set mine at 6 or 7 in the morning, depending on how much sleep I'm planning on getting. It's got a stopwatch, which isn't super useful for me on a day-to-day basis. If I am wearing a more basic watch that doesn't have a countdown timer, then I will use the stopwatch to say, measure my resting periods in the gym, or if I'm doing some kind of beauty product on my face, I might time that so I know when to wash it off. But with that said, this G-Shock watch does have a countdown timer, which I do find pretty useful. It beeps and it will offer you a flash alert if you set it that way. That is a better way to measure your rest periods in the gym, although sometimes it can be hard to hear over the music in the gym, especially if you got headphones in. It'll help you to know when your boiled eggs are done, when it is bulking season. Of course, that's very important to get those eggs to the right temperature. There are other instances when you can use a countdown timer, so be creative, be imaginative. This is a fun luxury item to have on your wrist, and you want to use it as much as possible. Yeah, I'm sure your smartphone has a stopwatch and a countdown timer, but doing it on the wrist makes it just that much more fun. Like many other G-Shocks, including my 7900A, it has a beautiful electroluminescent bluish green backlight. I think it's one of the most beautiful backlights on any watch, any place, and it lasts as long as you depress that button. When you let it go, it lasts for about another second or two, and it lights up the LCD beautifully in the evening, making everything very lovely and easy to read. It's one of my favorite features of G-Shock watches, to be honest. This G-Shock watch has a stainless steel screw down back, which makes it very easy if you need to change the battery, which you won't have to do for several years, I know from experience. It also has a full auto calendar and an accuracy of plus or minus 15 seconds per month, which I find very useful because you want it to keep the time. I mean, that's what the watch is for after all. The face and bezel of the DW5600 are very classic. On the bezel, you've got that G-Shock protection branding, and like many digital watches that we've looked at on the channel, there is a lot of writing on the face, which in this case, I don't think looks too busy. There's a nice symmetry and design the multicolored lettering, the branding, the logos, the word marks. It all comes together to make a very lovely looking watch. You've got things like the Casio branding, illuminator, shock resist. All the buttons are labeled, for example, mode, adjust, and there's some nice borders that tie everything together. All in all, it's a very nicely designed watch. So now that we got some of the features and technical specifications out of the way, let's check out how the G-Shock 5600 looks on my 7.5-inch wrist. Previously on this channel, we took a look at the G-Shock 7900A in that beautiful bold red color. And as I stated in that review, for a long time, it was the only watch in my collection other than the Apple Watch, and it's been in my collection for about a decade. You can check out that review, I'll have it linked in the description below. But now with the DW5600, we're taking things back to the basics. Speaking of which, Casio dropped the very first G-Shock watch all the way back in 1983. It was the DW5000C, which incidentally enough, you can still find on eBay for a pretty penny. Personally, I'm okay with buying the homage to that original model. Now, the faces don't look exactly alike, but in general, it looks like the same watch. To someone who's not into watches, it's gonna look identical. There are higher end G-Shock models that will give you a closer match to that original look, so just keep that in mind. But if you're looking for that more basic, budget, entry-level G-Shock, this is the one to go with. As a matter of fact, Casio officially refers to this watch as the quintessential G-Shock, which by the way stands for gravitational shock. I cannot believe I went all these years without knowing that one little fact about this line of watches. But hey, better late than never. And the design of this G-Shock watch is so iconic. It's so iconic that if you wanted this to be your only G-Shock in the collection, it could be that, because this is what people think of when they think G-Shock watch. Growing up in the 90s, I always knew that G-Shock watches carried with them a cool factor, and that cool factor carries over to this day. I was just on kith.com browsing clothes and accessories, and I found several G-Shock watches on the website available for sale, though at a slight markup. But with that said, that is a pretty good cosign for the G-Shock line of watches. In case you don't know, G-Shock watches are known for being tough and resistant to pretty much anything that you can throw at them, whether you're a deep sea diver or a UFC fighter. In addition to all its practical features like a stopwatch, multifunction alarm, electroluminescent backlight, it is also water resistant up to 200 meters and is a perfect watch to wear to the gym or whatever job you might have, whether that's behind a keyboard or working on a car engine or oil rig out to sea. This of course is the budget entry-level model with a standard black resin, but of course you can get them in many different colors. You can get them upgraded with other features like the multi-band 6, the tough solar charging. But like I said at the beginning, if you're a little bit more budget conscious and you just want a G-Shock watch to add to your collection, this is a great one to go with. Because I was able to find this as an Amazon deal of the day, I was more than happy to add it to my G-Shock collection alongside the 7900A. It definitely fits my particular lifestyle. As a YouTuber, I find myself most days behind the computer doing editing, writing, planning, or if I am filming for my travel and food channel, this is a perfect watch that I can wear. I work out 6 to 7 times per week, so it is a perfect watch to bring to the gym, although of course it's not gonna track steps or heart rate or anything like that. But if you're just looking for a basic watch to time your rest periods, or even use the stopwatch to time how long you've been working out for, this is a great watch to have. Like I said, it's a tough watch. If you happen to slam it into a barbell or a plate, nothing's really gonna happen to it. It might pick up a scratch here or there, but this is the type of watch that the more scratches it has, the more stories it has to tell. Now, I wouldn't wear this watch on a first date or a job interview. I think it's a little bit too basic for that, so proceed with caution if you're gonna do that. But you know, if you're on a third or fourth date, you might want to break out something like this to show that you are not a watch snob. You have the nice ones and you have the digital watches that everybody loves. It does have a cool factor. It's more of a sporty one, so if you're going out for a day on the town doing some shopping, running some errands, I wouldn't grab it for fancier occasions, like if you're going out for a nice French dinner with some expensive champagne. This is not gonna match that occasion. I don't care who you are. In the comments below, let me know what you think about this DW5600E. Personally, I like this watch. It's classic, it's iconic, it fits many occasions and many different lifestyles, and you know that it's gonna last for many years as a reliable luxury timepiece. Maybe not so luxury, but you know what I mean. This G-Shock watch is comfortable to wear and I think it looks great on my 7.5-inch wrist. The resin material feels good, it wears well, and the pin and buckle closure lets you adjust it to your heart's content. It's essentially gonna replace my F91W at the gym and other everyday activities. So there's a lot about this watch that I really love. Let's talk a little bit about the cons. First of all, the buttons are not exactly very easy to push for myself. You kind of got to use a fingernail for all of them, and then the adjust button, which is slightly depressed, is even more difficult to push, and it's just not my favorite setup. I find myself struggling a little bit when I'm using the various features. Speaking of which, it is a little bit bare bones when it comes to features. Like I said, the 7900A has a moon phase and some tide graphics. This one just very straightforward, but that's to be expected for the price tag. Now that we've got this basic entry-level G-Shock watch reviewed on the channel, let us know in the comments what other G-Shocks we should look at, and also let us know your thoughts on this watch. Make sure you like this video and subscribe for more watch content, and I appreciate you watching. I will see you next time. Peace.